Okay. Time for pick and ban again. My favorite part of these games.
Went back to a strategy as old as time, protect the double lift. It's what Team Liquid just beat CLG with, and now CLG is blue side and could very easily start putting the components together for a similar team composition.
You should really see that double AD coming in for CounterLogic Gaming. They control the game when they have that much power and that much ability to get around. Who knows though?
I hate the Morgana ban by CLG
every time.
Series.
Every time.
All three games
in a row.
It's one of Afremu's best champions. And they have first pick if they're that worried about it. I know there's other contestable things,
right,
like Lulu and Sejuani. Ex-Smithy Sejuani was not that powerful. Why not just ban Sejuani and first pick Morgana, let Afremu play it?
They gonna first pick Vlad again?
The force comes along the way that if they need to ban that, if you get a one opened up, something. But they have just played this textbook right into it. Maybe the call of the Scara coaching staff down on.
Yeah. I mean, obviously we saw the team discussing at length right after that game.
Right after the game.
You get to discuss everything from what went wrong in the game to changing your pick and ban strategy around. These guys are very well prepared, so they definitely have logic behind this Morg ban. I personally just don't agree with it.
Well, we'll have to see. There's always interviews after the games where they reveal a few of the things here and there. Maybe we won't get chronological.
Okay, Lulu's a smart ban though, because it'll prevent them from Juggermawing again. That's a good ban.
It's not helping them so far. Lulu is their last ban, but it may be the way they get around Team Liquid this game. Figure out what they've been bringing to the table. CLG Gaming has thrown a lot of sticks into the spokes, I'd say, with the picks that they have. Not really working out.
Last ban. TF? Okay.
Going back to comfort. You've seen the Vladimir.
It's fine if you don't want to deal with it.
Nautilus for Afremu. A lot of changes here for quarterfinals.
And now we'll get to see if CLG is making meaningful mid-series adaptations in the pick and ban phase. If they have not, then they pick Vladimir here. Just like they would in Game 1. Their bans were very similar. The only thing they left up was Zed. Instead, switch that with an Urgot ban.
Yeah, the Zed, interesting.
I mean, now the real question is, do they think Ex-Smithy's Sejuani was good enough? We saw how
Sejuani or Maokai?
Missed.
Do it.
After that game, it did not look like a super solid pick.
Do it.
Big AoE, small projectile.
It's true. It's actually a really hard skill to land, but at the same time, you cannot miss that many. They're really taking their time on this one.
All right.
Okay.
Rumble's not terrible.
Spartan has excelled on throughout the year and can control the lane. The Rumble gets picked in first for CounterLogic Gaming, showing a little bit of objective control, but not initially what the composition is.
That's more, again, that's better engaged than they had out of the top lane previously and more kill pressure. So that's, I think that's a step in the right direction.
How well Piglet played Kog'Maw, they might be a little bit scared of that. With the Lulu ban, I think they would have been totally free to pick something like Scion. I know this is the 5.6 patch, and Scion has been slightly nerfed, but
okay, they're going to get Sejuani though.
Is really strong.
Still a big boy.
Oh god, please don't play Swain.
Huh.
Is the bird the word?
Alright, Hecarim's good.
I don't think so.
Strong engage from TL.
Maybe Hecarim as well. I was going to bring that up. We're going to see a little
good split pushing.
Laning. See how that goes.
Hecarim is very, very good right now.
Dangerous to pick that against CLG. Hecarim can be heavily denied in lane swaps. Heavily denied. Especially once he falls behind. He can't farm if he cannot overpower someone in a duel. Last game, Quas fell really far behind Zion Spartan, so Team Liquid will have to put a definite focus on him, which will probably give Doublelift an edge over Piglet.
Yeah, he doesn't have that option this game to be pushed out of lane. You have to get that farm and gold onto Hecarim. You can't Lulu ult people later.
Whoa!
Alistar gets locked in with Smithy.
I think this is a good direction for CLG.
We've seen this jungle Jarvan. He was so dominant early on in the split.
Jarvan's not bad right now. I still think that maybe Zach
fell off pretty hard.
Zach is a little bit better
CLG can still use it to create early and mid-game fights.
for some hard engage, but you know, Jarvan Rumble old combo still strong, always strong. Finally, CLG is running a composition where they can actually get in onto TL, so it'll be interesting to see how the TL reacts. They want to take away the Lucian potentially. Okay, so they're going to peel for their backlines. It's a pretty standard composition from TL. They're going to have better split push pressure.
Vayne is much better against Jarvan than almost any other AD carry. But Lucian reacts better with the Janna shield, I think. Yeah,
Piglet with a smile on his face there.
the Vayne game.
The camaraderie between the AD carries and Vayne being pretty much their top gunner. It's hovered over here as we finalize pick number 4 and 5.
Sivir?
Which has also been quite a hover
Sivir?
here. Can bust some tanks if necessary.
would be
but
great.
Still scary picks right now with how these fights are going and how fast you can get to that back line. Got to be able to protect your AD carry.
Yeah,
Taking their time.
Mid lane AD carry picks here.
You have to lane swap with Sivir, though, I think.
Zan Spartan's been
in
the top
Lucian.
performer throughout this series.
It's
They
an annoying
need
lane to
more
deal
than
with.
that in order to win. They do not know what Phoenix will be playing in mid lane, so it makes Link's pick very difficult here.
So if Liquid takes Zed, they can 1-3-1 really
Strong
effectively.
tank line, strong
Really
tank.
effectively,
Hard to
actually,
pick
with
against.
Zed and Hecarim.
Graves is a generalist. Sivir. Oh, they go with the double AD.
Okay.
That is the CLG special. This is what they play.
This is fine.
Throughout the season.
This is fine for CLG.
Okay, a
The
little
problem
fist
is
bump
that
there.
Ezreal
Nobody
has
getting a good
very
game
bad
out of
wave
this
clear
one.
for
CLG
6.
fans
And
happy as well.
but they
It's
have
what I was talking
decent
about
wave
earlier
clear
with
with
Link
Sivir
being
in
able
another
to
lane.
play a little
But
bit
they're not
better
going to be able to
than
deal with a
multiple
1-3-1.
champions. He can
So Zed is a
use
really good
work
pick
on.
here.
That Ezreal might just be the one that he can
They have a lot of backline
with.
assassinate too, with True Shot Barrage,
So,
Boomerang
still,
Blade,
it's a
and
very
then the
well-constructed CLG
Rumble
team
ult
comp
taking
as
out
well.
people in the back.
Double AD.
But
Maybe some weakness
Janna
in
is
the
gonna
bottom
help
lane,
out
but
a lot
CLG
with
makes up
that.
that with lane swaps and really strong 20-minute power spikes.
yeah, Vlad's fine too.
Phoenix just roll a mid lane.
Vlad will still allow you to 1-3-1.
Wouldn't that be something?
Why not? Would be the first time. Keen, or rather, that Urgot, that Vladimir lately.
Vlad's good.
He is
He
no
did play
stranger.
Vladimir
No
against
stranger
Winter
to it in
Fox.
the mid lane, right?
Team Liquid lost that game.
Well, 1 second. I don't think he's going to change it.
Would be a late swap.
He's going to be locking in the Vlad. The
Okay,
composition's
Vlad's
around
fine.
Here for
He-
game 3 and what could possibly be
He gives
CLG's,
a lot of
his
tankiness.
CLG's last chance.
I mean, I'm not really
to get a
sold
win here
on,
in
you know,
this series.
this is a
No
composition
margin for error
from CLG
anymore.
that
Counter-logic
requires a
game.
very
Their
strong mid
double AD
game.
team composition, good tank line. They
Because
have
you're just
nice
not going to
damage
kill
from the Rumble
this
as well.
late. And Hecarim is
Alistair
super
and
good against
Jarvan
double AD because he already like one-shots AD carries.
by
If he
Steelers.
gets a
Look over
good
Team
if he gets a
Liquid
good
as well.
teleport home guard engage.
How good will the Sejuani
And
rival dominate? Because if he
This
gets
is a lot.
down
For
the
Vlad
AD
is going to be able to
carries,
output pretty
and combo
consistent
that
damage
with
right here
Phoenix
actually.
across, throwing
So
damage
if
down
CLG doesn't get a big advantage in the
and
mid game,
also
they're not going to have enough
the
damage late to
That's
kill
not
the
even
big
thinking
tank
about
line.
what Piglet's going to be doing against this. Really a fascinating matchup here. All these team comps have had their own trade-offs. No game here. Same thing.
Surge here. The semi-final. Quick, best of. Team Liquid looking to keep that history of head-to-heads here versus Counterlogic Gaming, or rather the team in general. That legacy.
It's now 7 games in a row they defeated CLG.
Yeah, 7.
Going back to last year's Summer Split playoffs when it was Curse versus CLG. 2-0 in the regular season. 2-0 so far this series. And CLG needing to win 3-0 if they want to move on to the playoffs. So a very tall task in front of them.
Yep.
We always talk about these teams and how they react to adversity, whether or not they tilt, coming up big under pressure. And for the first 2 games of the series, while Team Liquid has been under pressure, the pressure is highest when they need to clinch the series. Especially considering the way
Okay.
that they did not
Same
get
level
Worlds
1
last
pretty much from CLG all
or
3
X
games.
Special, I will dominate and Quas. They
Yeah,
were up
against
2-0
LMQ.
against LMQ and then lost 3 games in a row.
Oh.
Oh, hello.
Good day, sir. Gives them a few love taps. Yeah, they should be able to keep their heads on straight. Heard in the playoff teaser that went up on social media a few days ago that one of the biggest things these teams fear, even when they're ahead, is becoming relaxed, thinking you have the
All right, CLG.
That's when you can easily lose the game to your opponent.
Biggest fear is collapsing under pressure.
Looking to lane swap right here, but they're not going to get a
Said
freeze off.
His biggest fear was them sucking in playoffs.
Interesting.
They're at danger.
So they kind of forced that lane swap.
having
Piglet and Special go to the top side. They're not going to get their lane freeze. So CLG has freeze. They have a freeze right now. This is good.
against Team A.
And finally, CLG has a composition
Split
that
maps once again.
actually
They
matches
have
up
lane
well
swaps all three all
against
times.
what
This
Liquid
has
has for
actually
the
been in
first time in
favor of
3
CLG.
games.
And then Team Liquid wins in the mid game.
Yep. Both teams say freeze, please. And And we get that on both sides of the map. Jungler, or rather, supports are actually able to hang out as well. They don't
It's fine.
As I say, that special's back
Should be.
in.
We can't see the top wave, but we'll assume that it's not frozen or not going to be freezing in top. Meanwhile, freeze is going to be happening in the bottom side.
Special stays in lane, so we'll keep on that roll then. Yay. Smithy and Spartan keeping it together here.
Trying to get the crab right now,
comes from.
just so they can get enough vision here. Make sure they're not going. It's fine. You know, lane follow right now. And they need to cut this off. So this lane is pushing in. So this is good pathing. Basically, they want to make sure that there aren't going to be any shenanigans, especially if the top laner comes here onto the top turret.
They're generally just copying what
while this pushes in. Phoenix should have pool. Yeah.
He was always going to blood pool that gank if he hits level 3. Unless that gank hits at level 2, and Phoenix hadn't skilled up blood pool, that gank is not working. It actually delays their double jungle. They only cleared the red buff. They didn't.
Right.
Didn't finish.
So this whole wave is getting denied. Meanwhile, they're pushing this now. So what CLG is doing is they had the freeze, which gives them the option, right? That's why you want the freeze, is because you have the control over the lane as to whether you're going to be pushing in to the bottom side. So when they saw this wave hit, and they knew that they weren't going to be able to get this wave due to the jungler and top lane position, they start to fast push just so they can deny. But this means that there's going to be a recall right here, so it's all about whether I will dominate and Quas can get down there in time, which they shouldn't be able to do because they've already set this up right here too. So CLG's reacting really well to what's going on. And this is going to be late because this recall, he can't TP, they have to walk into lane. So this XP is also getting denied 100%. So top laner's pretty much even right now, and will stay that way for the moment. Now the question is, are they going to fast push this?
Yeah.
And they are.
Yeah. CLG.
It's nice that you can do this with Jarvan's standard. This is why Jarvan's really good in these lane swap situations where you want to kill a turret.
Doubling back. They always win these early games by a small margin, and they're getting turret and minion wave pressure right here, and because they're in between the turret here, I don't know if Team Liquid can make it there for the defense.
See, TL, they had a chance here to commit to this top turret kill, but CLG really had an edge, because if they did that, then the dragon will be taken alongside the bot lane turret, most likely. So this is a hard situation for a TL to be in, and this is the advantage that you get from having that freeze and also from having your dual lane on bottom side of the map. This is really well played by CLG, and there's not really a lot that Liquid can do.
4 minutes CLG has had in the series.
It's very strong.
Right now, the percentage is definitely on their side, but the early game moves in favor of Counter Logic Gaming with that bottom lane, like you were saying. Team Liquid didn't get much out of that. They were left running towards it and then walking away.
In game 1, Team Liquid tried to send 3 people to meet the wave of CLG's 4 people. They tried the same thing this game, but this time Team Liquid was the slow team and CLG beat them to the spot. So Team Liquid ended up wasting a lot of time. They lost that wave entirely, which is one of the big reasons that gold difference exists.
Okay, so what they're going to do is they're actually pushing this up so they have more control over the dragon. But Phoenix has more control right now. He's going to be able to deal with this Ezreal pretty well in the mid lane. But they're still going to be able to get drag out of this. Meanwhile, TL gets nothing. And they bounce the wave too. This is extremely good for CLG.
Piglet is still freezing. Piglet is still freezing in that lane. This is a dragon turret advantage without a CS discrepancy by CLG. Unless we see a fight here, CLG is quite low for the dragon.
Oh, without Piglet right now. Smithy tries to get out. He gets the ignite. Special still focusing him, but needs to give peel to the team. It's a very big back and forth. There's hardly any damage on the board. Link comes back. Actually comes to the fight. He was just taking a little bit longer to get there.
Okay, you can't do that because you don't have TP on your top laner, so this can be a 5v4, right? Really dangerous. Even though they took a lot of damage from Dragon, it's still a 5v4 because Double Lift just bounced that wave. And not only that, but CLG is going to be able to walk out of this one and collect more CS too. Piglet's lack of pressure up here is really problematic.
He gets the ignite. Special still focusing him, but needs to give peel to the team. It's It's a very big back and forth. There's hardly any damage on the board.
This is
Link comes
great
back.
for CLG.
Actually comes to the fight. He was just taking a little bit longer to
Especially with their composition, because remember, they really want to push for a hard mid-game, so having this big advantage already will magnify
Even though
their
CLG did not get
compositional
the dragon,
edge.
the fact that they
This
picked
is
up
really,
Link
really
First
good.
Blood makes this early game even better. The places they are backing are not places that are required to get farmed. Ezreal's still farming in mid, double it after
So they have to hope they deny a lot of CS. So they're still pushing right here. So the hope is, if Teal's going to get anything at all out of this, that Quas gets some farm and Zion Spartan doesn't. But Rumble not the most farm-dependent top laner. Meanwhile, Hecarim really needs Trinity Force.
Doesn't look like they're going to match it up just yet. They are going to be sending Zion Spartan towards that top lane so he could try to stop Piglet from doing that bit of freeze now. And just about 95% for level 6s in that mid lane. Might see Link go down with that low mana. He's getting pushed in by Phoenix. CLG still put the pressure here on the bottom side. They don't want to give Liquid any chances to come back here. They have done it from a
So CLG's trying to prevent Quas from freezing and slow pushing that wave by ramming this right into the turret. Meanwhile, this wave is already reversed, so it's just free farm for Zion.
It's still going to be that mid-game, early-game power, whereas Sejuani will take longer to turn into a powerhouse. It does seem like Xmithy might go Cinderhulk Jarvan, though, with that health crystal early, trying to protect this top lane turret.
Oh, Smithy making the call. His Raptor buff just got
Yep,
popped
that's
by
good
that
pathing by Xmithy. Just go ahead and make sure they're not going to dive your Rumble on that wave. He shows up right in time. CLG's early game is very tight.
Just saw Link use that True Shot Barrage in mid, so he can go back and buy. Expect to see that a few more times here to make sure Phoenix doesn't get too much roam on, as well as keep the lane in his favor. Still getting pushed in here by Phoenix as well. So back and forth there is 56 to 48 in the mid lane. Link stacking that tier.
So they're going to switch into the 2v2 now.
Be able to make some plays here.
Ooh, not sure about this. Not sure about this. Swap.
Bottom lane.
Link's Ezreal.
Because
A little bit of wave play.
80 carries are approximately even, but the thing that you had going for you, well, you know, coming in here, if you go into the bottom side of the map right now, with this Rumble, you're going to put him in a really long lane. So he's either going to have to stand here and wait for this wave, or he's going to put himself at a large disadvantage and the possibility of getting ganked by Sejuani. It's pushing out though pretty quick now. There's a lot of caster minions, so this could turn out okay for them.
Same time with his cooldown boots, because he'll be close to 40% CDR with as much damage as possible and just look to take over the game. Before that point, he's not that strong. Stacking up his tier, Sheen for last hits, cooldown per level runes haven't really kicked in yet. So the fact that he got a kill is so beneficial for CLG in the long run.
Definitely takes a different dynamic of play to be safe but aggressive in that lull of damage. Know what you can and can't do. They go ahead and get a nice steal, dominate, not having too good of a game towards his buffs, with that first one really being stolen out. The ultimate still going to count very big for him. We got to see this.
Yeah, he's going to get all that XP.
Quas and dominate.
So this has been really good. It ended up being very good for CLG. They saw how many caster minions were in that top wave, and so they knew it was going to push quickly. So by the time he got there, he was going to be able to get some farm and XP.
Lane pressure.
He is down right now on Hecarim as a result, but again, it's Rumble, so it's not the most impactful. It's mostly the fact that he needs to hit level 6.
By far a better early game from CLG, which is somewhat to be expected. Lane swapping against a Hecarim is something we knew Hecarim wasn't going to deal super well with, because Team Liquid prioritized farm. Quas is now up in CS over Zion Spartan. Piglet is at least up in levels, and they could still theoretically transition into a fight. Maybe this gank from Dominate will try and turn something. Whoa, Afro is so low.
Afro
Whoa.
gets a calling to the backside. A little bit of massage there. And blows the flash as well. Deja vu.
What the hell?
Putting on the pressure towards the bottom side, and Team Liquid going to lose the horse in the bot here. Oh no! Oh, he gets it! Oh, incredible! Quas comes up huge.
Everything just changed right there, Riv, because the experience advantages that Team Liquid barely had, that CLG just needed to farm out until
They just got outplayed in both lanes without any jungle pressure. That's so terrible.
Wow.
dueling an under-leveled Zion.
That's
Spartan
huge. They're
level
gonna get a
5,
tower
level 6.
too. Okay, well, all that work that they did just gone, just vanished into thin air. I don't even know how they got that kill topside.
Can you get it? One more.
Oh.
One more.
Yeah.
Is he dead now?
Wind does not do that much damage.
Oh, Piglet doesn't want to expose himself.
No, he doesn't. Stop. Go back. Piglet, go back.
He exposed himself.
There's the pressure. Level 5.
Hecarim will be here. Hecarim will be here.
That's going to be the hit. Here comes Quas once again. He just
Oh,
came
God,
back even
Hecarim.
bigger. He's got the phage to stick to Aframu. Now another teleport coming in from Zion Spartan to stop this.
Still
Just
trading
like
1 for
the
1
other
there was really
games,
lucky.
Fight after fight here in the early part.
Yeah, really tense situations. These guys not wanting to get out.
Good TP from Zion to come in just to kill the tower.
And the gank there.
Ooh, can they kill it?
Oh,
No, they
man.
can't. Never mind.
Just because X Special wanted to finish that turret, that's what led to all that trading. I Will Dominate does have his ultimate, but
They still got the turret, so 1 for 1 in the tower is definitely great for TL in this situation. Especially since they
Teams
got
seem to have kind of this
yeah,
early game down.
the kills
How
are in
to
the right
stop it, how to
places,
get
too.
the kills that they want.
Hecarim and
really playing well
Lucian.
from both sides. Hemo play goes down. A few more transfusions. That should be a dead link. The blue buff going over to Phoenix. He flashes out. And
What
he
the
gets
fuck?
play as he
Did
turns
everybody
around
just
for the
dies
bullet.
solo?
things like this happening was just so unexpected coming into the series. Think of the way Team Liquid has got their kills this game.
Yeah.
Piglet, 2v2 kill against Doublelift Afram. Quas, solo kill.
Well, okay,
Zion
I mean-
Phoenix, solo kill Link.
Yep.
CLG is a better strategic team.
Wow,
Honestly, had
they just got
better
completely
individual
outplayed.
coverage of the
Well,
season.
that's why League of
If
Legends
you're
is
looking
great,
at this match
guys.
holistically,
The
coming into
crazy
this series,
outplays
number
you can
6
do.
seed, number 3 seed. It was very hard
Just
to find a
short
way
circuit
that
strategy,
Team Liquid wins this. CLG
right for the
was
1v1
better
outplays.
at
I'm not being sarcastic either.
If
That's
you look
a
at
really
the
fun
matchups
aspect
and
of
the way
this game
players
is that there is a
perform,
playmaking
CS-wise
aspect
and
to
all
it,
those other things, even
where
if we didn't see lane
you can
swap,
balance
like
out
CLG
some of these
better than
advantages
that.
just by
More wins
straight
on
up
the season.
winning duels.
Team Liquid had all those issues swapping.
But
around
man, that
the
is such a
game.
train wreck.
We're not victorious.
Right.
CLG played the early
They're
game
not
so
gonna win the
well.
stats game from Keith.
But the one thing that
And then
has changed
every
matchups
single player makes a
is
mistake.
CLG in playoffs, the X factor that does, and Team Liquid's
Yikes.
team fighting, because that's been the biggest thing. Team Liquid has copied CLG's lane swaps as much as possible, trying to minimize trades with better team fighting compositions, and then they're forcing CLG to make plays
Yep.
in high pressure, nervous situations. And it's actually working out for them very well. You can see the performance of CLG players individually
Yeah.
is not strong right now, really, because all three of their lanes died in head-to-head matchups.
What we're also not seeing in these lane swaps is when Aframu used to be that first guy to mid, the first guy catching the guy lane swapping with Morgana, which they're banning, or Thresh, something that they would use to start the game off early.
You're absolutely right about that. They still have comfort picks to a certain extent,
Right.
but it's a different kind of comfort picks
Yeah.
there. This is the closest I've seen CLG to being a true CLG composition, but it might be too late. Maybe they're too impacted by those first two matches.
And he would go on aggressive onto Piglet there without too much vision around them already being
This is
surrounded here in the
interesting.
bottom lane. Gotta be careful how long this takes.
This is really
The
aggressive
wing.
by Phoenix.
Little
Not
bit
even
of
completing his
low
WODA, just saying,
aggression.
hey, I have enough money for the
Liquid able to
needlessly. So
grab
he's
the
trying to
dragon.
push his advantage really, really
No
hard.
contest. There's the ultimate. They're going on the hunt. Is it actually Doublelift that goes down? He puts the spell shield on, but the auto attack still connects from Piglet. And that ultimate is just in defense. Very low mana for Aframu. They can't do much here.
Great pressure
It's tricky
in this
there,
bottom
even
lane.
items,
Dominate's
but
really
Lucian
smart for
against
being
Sivir,
here.
if he gets the distance close,
This advantage is
very,
going to be crazy
very
too in the top lane.
That's gonna
When
be there.
Hecarim gets Trinity
It is
Force,
tank Jarvan,
it's
Sivir
going to
won't
be
run his-
really, really hard to stop his
to be
split
expected.
pushing.
They're gonna be playing Jarvan.
So also notice that because there's a CS advantage and now this advantage in mid lane, the 1-3-1 split push is going to be ridiculously strong for Team
Needed
Liquid.
to have that early game impact right now, though. And Quas, now that he's 1-on-1 against Sound Spartan and not behind, can continue this farm.
Yep, this is really good
Said
play.
that once you get a
This is
few
how you
kills
play
on the
Hecarim.
horse,
That's so
you'll be able to
annoying. This is
run
why
the
Hecarim's so
game
good.
hard.
He just puts
Zion Spartan
incredible
sitting
map
on
pressure
that
down.
Seeker's arm guard now and not really that much gold.
It is risky
Lanes in this game
to play
snowball
Hecarim, but
20 CS advantage for Phoenix, 30 CS for Quas, and for the first time this series, Piglet a CS advantage
Yep.
over Doublelift.
That's something big to see. Doublelift maintained pretty much all year the high CS in the early part of the game, and Piglet was one of the last. Albeit he didn't have as many games to play, he's definitely showing up now. And Phoenix looking to show up in the mid lane. He actually is just
good.
dancing
It's a
around
really
this
good
one,
gank.
and he may have saved it in just enough time.
wow, Phoenix
Same
played
with
that
Red,
extremely
just to get
well.
out of the last bit.
This is
And
really good
Phoenix
Vlad
look
play.
to maintain
This is the right gank to make if you're Xmithy. You want to try and get Vlad while his flash is down because he is really vulnerable to Jarvan. Jarvan is very good against as a jungler against mid lane Vlad. So you see this.
Albeit he didn't have as
Didn't hit the knockup.
many games to play. He's definitely showing
There's
up
the
now.
Hemo Plague.
And Phoenix looking to
And
show
look at
the
this.
mid lane. He actually
He's just
is
dodging
just
skill
dancing
shots.
around this one, and he may have saved it in just enough time.
That was great
Same way
play.
Blood, just to get out of the
But yeah, that was
The
just
value
really good
of
play.
having an incredibly
from Phoenix.
versatile mid laner
Yep.
and using that pick last in the draft. He is
And he played that so cool.
manhandling that right now. Save
Because if you can dodge some of those abilities from Ezreal, Ezreal's still trying to stack up right here, right? He had the tier first, so he's just not very strong. And with that rod, you're getting a lot of damage down, a lot of healing
because the combo
from the
with
Hex
Alistair
tech.
is headbutt pulverize, but the pool of blood became untargetable, so he just pressed WQ. There was no target for the W, therefore he queued the ground. Phoenix really playing well. Team Liquid has been calling him the best player in the LCS in scrims, but it's never manifested on the LCS stage. Maybe it's starting to happen here against Link.
Well, he's definitely found a way to shake off that pressure. Saw it affecting him a little earlier in the season, but he has shown up in that mid lane with his versatility and his gameplay today. That 1v1 versus Link definitely relieved a lot of pressure for the rest of the map, and we saw the other lanes getting kills of their own. Phoenix here has a Vladimir, probably going to take the turret down before Ezreal can take that other move. Not something you see every day. You're right. A lot of push, but not a lot of turret pressure there.
Yeah, and CLG is hoping to hit their power spikes because there is an immense amount of pressure on them in this early game. It's a switch of actually what we've seen in the other matches. This
is really bad. So remember how we talked about earlier that when we watch these games that this composition has to have a strong mid game or Team Liquid was just going to get too tanky. Well, they had that big lead thanks to just getting outplayed in every aspect of the map. They're now behind, and they keep on losing objectives. Now their outer ring of turrets is dead. They have to fight at the next dragon. If CLG doesn't fight at the next dragon, they're going to get outscaled, and they have to win that fight too. But Zion Spartan had decided to go for Arm Guard first here, so he has no pen, so his Equalizer isn't going to be doing much damage.
He's doing his damnedest. He's pretty much casting every spell
He's already he got the tier super early because Link actually had first blood in this game. So he is already at 500 bonus mana up to 750. And he just doesn't have enough gold for the Trinity Force. He needs to farm about another
Oh man. The Zonias here is absolutely huge. Getting the Zonias already is so important because this is going to prevent CLG from engaging. It's really smart that he went for Zonias before finishing Will of the Ancients against this composition because he'll be able to stand in the front line and be a threat and prevent the Sivir engage from going down. I really like that decision.
He'll still hit that power spike pretty early.
Yeah, he will. Probably around 20-21 minutes. Should
Around
see
there.
that. 3K gold lead here for Team Liquid. This seems to be the magic number in the mid game that teams can spread on each other. But it seems like if they win, if the team
Huge too that Infinity Edge is done first
wins the fight at this
for
point.
Piglet because he has enough PL that he's going to be getting a lot of autos
CLG
off.
figure out a way in. Link still
Okay,
using
Dragon.
the buff
This is
as
what
much as
this is
possible.
what we're gonna wait for
Flank's
because
going
this one's gonna be
now
really,
for
really
CLG,
important.
for Xmitty and Alphamu as they start to get
And look at this 1-3-1,
things that they want.
and they have the Vlad with the Zonias against Sivir.
Phoenix entering split push Vladimir mode as well.
This is very good execution by TL. Man, if TL would clean up their lane swaps a little bit,
This early on.
they've been so dominant outside of those early games.
It's pretty incredible to see Team Liquid come out and do this, especially in a quarterfinal matchup. Dominate said the best of 5 is something that favors them, but they've shown that this seems like it should have been happening all year with this.
Yeah, they won the first game. I mean, they'd win a best of 1 today.
Yeah.
Although game 1 was probably the closest of the 3. It is progressing throughout this series of being more and more in the favor of Team Liquid. This game is incredibly close to being out of the hands of CLG if they catch Team Liquid in a split push mistake here. Team Liquid is actually doing the 1-3-1 right here that CLG was doing in game
Right.
1. Vladimir on one side, it's not a Twisted Fate, but it is a teleporting Hecarim on the other side, still able to join fights at a moment's notice if necessary. But the critical difference here is maybe the 1-3-1 team is actually better in team fights. for Team Liquid. If they can do that, there's nothing CLG can do aside from Team Liquid.
This is so devastating.
13 to a 10 and an 8.
How do you even contest this dragon now? TL's making it impossible, thanks to swapping to the 1-3-1 at the perfect time.
We have, it's one of those games though that we have not yet seen that.
Good wards in.
We haven't seen the Xmithy and the Zion Spartan combination of Jarvan Rumble. There's still a good amount to happen here. See as Team Liquid.
So it looks like this is going to be a pretty free dragon.
Uncontested dragon once again.
All right, this one's over.
Kill Link before this happens, or at least make sure that lane is pushed.
Yep, they don't want to give up any turret trades either.
I like this.
Team Liquid's playing very well right now. They were able to take CLG down in the lane, and CLG has been amazing this season at playing from ahead based on early game advantages. But take that away from them, since they have not been a tremendous team fighting team, and you see a very different Team CLG.
Oh, that was a gimme.
Set up defense jungle. Liquid with that.
Is anything gonna happen in this game?
Continues to gain confidence and control over this game. Definitely giving Piglet a lot more freedom here to gain farm, grab what he wants, and do things by himself. See Spartan trying to.
Yeah, not sure about this shroud right now from Quas.
Shroud, Phage.
Could have had, you know, either go MR or he's getting pretty cocky with the Ninja Tabby here also, and still continuing to split push against this Rumble
Doesn't even have too many wards up
with
Link just
no
needs a little bit
MR.
more farm as well to hit his Trinity Force.
I think you don't buy Shroud in that situation. I think you just get Sheen, so at least you can try and trade with him.
What a turnaround for Team Liquid, though, if they can actually win this match. To 3-0 CLG in back-to-back years in the playoffs is insane, especially with the tumultuous up and down season Team Liquid had between Piglet and Keith, sticking with Piglet as well through all the defeats.
Yeah.
And then Piglet has played extremely well this series. We can pick on the mistakes that CLG has made, Xmithy missing Sejuani ultimates and Link,
Right.
teleporting in the wrong places as Twisted Fate. But Piglet has been crushing it here.
Okay, we're just waiting for this 1-3-1. I mean, if you're TL, you're fine with this going late. You're gonna get unkillably tanky in the end. Frozen Heart is gonna do a number against CLG.
Eggs in that 80 carry
Hello.
basket at that point. Quas goes crazy on his Zion Spartan though.
Yeah, Keep still going crazy as well. Very, very low. Zion thought he had a 1v1 for himself. He's been down all game.
No,
so
that was
he's itching to
that's a
get
good gank,
something back,
but
it cost
the
him his
Zion's
life.
not built.
The true
Oh,
shot barrage
no.
is going to miss
Zion,
Quas on the top
Quas
side.
isn't built
That only gives
to
up his
actually
position.
duel this
where
Rumble
Link is
very
strong.
efficiently.
If he can get some
He's
fights
built
up,
for the
it's a
for
1v2
dealing with the
that coming in.
5v5, which
Still
is
looking to make
interesting.
big win
Because if you're TL, I think it's just better to build for the 1-3-1 because you have such a huge advantage already, and they're not going to be able to stop it. Look at what's going on right now. You might as well just build for 1v1 so that, because right now what happens is that Dominate has to go deal with Quas, because Quas can't get the kill on his own, which means that he shows on the map. If these two champions can just 1v1, then you have ultimate pressure and Dominate can do whatever the hell he wants, get more deep wards in. So I think the Shroud will preempt it. Obviously, Frozen Heart's going to be really good on Hecarim, but
over the wall, Xmithy hits. He makes sure he's point blank range. Xmithy's forced to go in. Remember, Rumble ulti's not there. Dominate taking shots from double lift. The double AD comp from the back line is able to put out the pressure. The DPS there coming in from Link as he hits one last Mystic shot.
This is a 5v4 for CLG. They have to make this count because every second they are in mid lane, they are losing pressure elsewhere on the map.
When you have enough time for Vlad to push, you know anything else is taking way too long. Finally dropping that mid turret.
All right, well, they trade 1 for 1, but tier 2 for tier 1. They have to get more than this. They have to get this tower too.
He is a one-man wrecking crew right now. Afro with the CC.
They can easily kill him. A few more shots. The Mystic shot didn't hit for Link. Too many minions. They should be able to get some damage on the turret. All that has been hit is done. They back off of that. So pressure from CLG means they are still ready to go hard in these fights.
I'm not really sure. That didn't do anything, really.
Trade, though. We knew that was the one tiny moment they had there.
They also lost XP on the bottom side, or on top side right here. They lost a few minions that wave.
In a 4v5.
So, let's go back and watch that again, actually, because this is good side wave control. Look at this. Look at this. When did they set up this
1v3
wave?
with Afro coming in. They're still looking to maybe make a play because they're low.
So they
He's only 40 points off of
they
getting
set up
that
this wave right here.
force the damage to get these pokes.
So they have great side wave control. They're getting pressure down on multiple turrets. And that hits this timer where CLG has to go onto the mid lane in order to make a play, otherwise they are absolutely
This is
screwed.
a 5v4 for CLG. They have to make this count because every second they're in mid lane.
Right? And then they
Taking way too long.
get that turret.
Finally dropped
This
that
wave's
turret.
still
They look to
dropping.
keep the pressure on, but we're gonna get it back from Phoenix Hill.
Murmana transformed onto League. Blue buff.
How much of this wave did they get?
Too many minions. They
They lose
be
a
able to
lot,
get some
actually, I
damage
think.
on the turret.
Hard to tell if that's in
All
turret
that
range,
has been
actually.
is done. They back off of that.
Looks
So
like it's
pressure
not.
from
They got
CLG,
lucky.
they are still
That
right
that goes a
there.
little bit further and you lose a lot of gold
next
XP.
More out of that trade, though. We knew that
True.
that was the one tiny moment they had there, and the best they get is.
Well,
a
there are no more
turret
melee
trade
minions. Maybe a
and
few got
one-for-one
killed, but
kill.
it's definitely not as bad as it could have been had that actually hit the
4-5
turret.
right now. Team Liquid gonna look to retake some control in this game. They know they have advantages in most places. Yes, Link just hit his power spike, but he's 3 levels behind Phoenix's Vladimir right now.
Makes things
And they
quite
find him.
that arcane shift. All right, over the wall. He is fine. But they are losing more and more pressure
they
every
pressure
time
Baron
this
here?
happens.
Wow.
Zion
True
Spartan
shot
does not have
barrage is
teleport.
down. You got a little bit of damage. Yomu's and Infinity Edge from your AD carry, as well as Hecarim with that Triforce.
Impressive
It's either a
going
very
after
good
Baron
fight
this
with their
early.
ultimates up, or
This
they
is-
are going to stick
An
this.
incredibly risky call. Zion Spartan is almost in ultimate range. They're peeling for a fight.
Afro Moo may not even be able to ult. His ult is down. Why would you be a front line of the Baron fight? Phoenix and the rest of the team is going to try to take this, and they are, CLG rather, is
Oh my
running
God,
for the
Phoenix
hills.
going nuts on
Smithy
people.
trying to go over the wall, maybe a little bit more pure.
It's a good turn from
as they try to
TL.
assess the fight. He goes back in. He gets popped. There it is. He locks
Oh,
down
God.
the prison. The cuffs are on. Counter Logic Gaming, and Doublelift's the only one that's able to stay far enough away to escape.
The patience there from I Will Dominate Sejuani. We know that that's a very hard ultimate to pull off. But even when CLG was re-engaging, he waited for the window. They
Oh, that was a good Baron bait from TL. It forced CLG to make a really terrible decision.
So many
They got antsy and they weren't there.
decisions that you wish they could have been changed or could have been the right one.
Yep, let's watch this. So, oops. Coming into this, 2 members not even there. It's a double AD comp. You have to be able to poke with this. And so you see the Baron going down, but wow, they split right here too. So Piglet's going to get some free shots here. Meanwhile, Aframu is just entirely by himself. And TL picks exactly the right time to turn on this. They don't actually want the Baron. They just want to bait them into this fight. And because they're filing in 1v1 by 1, it's just super easy. Aframu has no ult. Zion, I mean, that's okay. Probably would have been better this way, but it's fine. Equalizer. And then they pop this, but Xmithy's nowhere near to help right here. And Phoenix is doing a great job of dealing damage and zoning them out with the Ghost.
They did not synchronize their initiation.
Link has to flash right there.
And Link is in the back of the fight because he had just recalled off. Here those CO.
So they're coming in to re-engage, but they don't have Sivir ult anymore. Good flash from Piglet to get out of this one. And
why can they turn this? They should be.
Wait a second.
counting
Where's
this
Cataclysm?
on the ultimate mission right here. Aframu had his
where is it?
So many split sec had something else happen.
Why is Cataclysm down?
yeah. Aframu had his ultimate down from before. Team Liquid knows that. They
Oh, it
throw
looks bugged.
everything
I'm not sure what's going on.
Zion Spartan's ultimate is also not a very good play.
But if you don't have Cataclysm, you can't turn on this fight. Because if you're CLG, you need Cataclysm to bottle them up right here. Because in fact, if Cataclysm was available, Xmithy has a really good option. But otherwise, they're just shit out of luck. Because they have no more Sivir ult. They've got nothing. So Piglet, that's a good flash. Could be an excellent Cataclysm here, but it's
Why
done
can
up.
they turn this? They should be counting this as one ultimate. They know
Yep,
that
and then look at
that
Dominate.
spell
That is
still
fucking
up.
godly.
It
What a great ult
hits
combo.
two squishy targets. The
Baited him right
Hecarim
back into the
was
choke.
also
TL again.
up.
look how well in this series they've baited them into chokes. TL's teamfight positioning in the terrain has been very good this series. TL's team fighting is good. They knew what they should be doing with their composition. It's clear that the communication has been made in advance. The plan has been made in advance about how they're going to be in the jungle and how they're going to be playing that out. And so they're able to repeatedly, they did in game 1 too, remember? Just get them right in the choke and smash them. CLG over pursues without knowing cooldowns.
A 1-1-2 double lift to Piglets 5-0-2.
If you've been watching since the start of the day, you saw Piglet say the winner of the first game in this series could very well just take the whole thing 3-0 because he knows himself and he knows Doublelift because they are very similar. Once you lose the first game with this much pressure on you, you think you are ruined, and that's what Piglet said himself. Now with Baron Buff, they're looking for a 25-minute inhibitor.
It sure doesn't help the swing of the emotions when you're on the losing end. It's going to go down fast. CLG, they are just taking Polaroids as it happens. They don't have the aggression to fight back against Counter Logic Gaming, and CLG now with their hands pretty much tied behind their backs are trying to fight back here.
Oh, the Zonya's bait.
They are going to be able to take down.
Damn, that was good. Phoenix played really well this game.
Finalizing kills. The passive shot coming in from Piglet gets a 6-0-2 for him, and they know it may be too much to end the game, so they play it calm, cool, and collected and head for the next turret.
And Phoenix is still alive after all of that. It looked like Team Liquid might have been overextending, but it was fine. They're so far ahead of CLG.
Yeah, 2 frozen heads. This is over.
Only died 3 times coming into this quarterfinal third game matchup. Very well played, organized in their fights, and the fights they're taking as well.
Every successive game has been more in the favor of Team Liquid from game 1 until 3.
Dominate said it favors them.
Ezreal doesn't even steal the dragon, unfortunately. Now 3 dragons to 0, 13 kills to 3. Looking at this, Doublelift trying to get as much farm and clear the way before they can become Baron empowered, but Piglet knows Ghostblade plus the culling was enough, and that's what started that entire snowball through.
Just a little too relaxed there. Those are the mistakes that are made when you're not thinking completely.
I think it's weird that people were like saying, like Piglet said that losing the first game was going to be a big deal. Because if you remember, SK Telecom was famous for losing, like going down 0-2 or 1-2 and then coming back and winning the series in 5 games. They like did that many times. And he was one of the major carries on that team alongside Faker, so I don't...
To get out of that.
In my experience of observing Piglet, that hasn't been true.
From anywhere, right? You would have expected a
way more consistent game. Weird thing to say.
Be hard, but we're not going to get toppled over. But when you get toppled over and you weren't even ready for that, you're already 4 steps behind trying to fix the problem.
And CLG going back to
I mean, if that's how Piglet feels, that's how Piglet feels. But just given his own history in League of Legends and SK Telecom's ability to make comebacks, oh god.
But it's just
goodbye, Doublelift.
Such great advantages in the lane.
Yeah, you're not getting away from Necrom.
No ultimate. Team Liquid, with the middle inhibitor already down, up 2-0 in the series, 28 minutes in.
Here we go.
Continuing the chase, he's in the base!
Whoa, no! He got the auto attack bump on, he had to be in range for that. Amazing plays from Quas. He did it once in the bottom lane before. He makes another play by himself here towards the end of the game. Only 30 minutes in.
I mean, Doublelift has no flash. Even if he didn't walk or like charge over the wall like that, he could have just ulted over and still killed him.
Doublelift didn't close the door after using the base gate. I'm sorry.
What, do you live in a barn?
Yeah, honestly, Hecarim just using his E mini dash to get through the base gate that he should not.
The Hecarim on the home guards.
Oh, he's coming in.
Come on, here he goes. Quas is into the fight. Oh, he gets bumped out by the cow. He says, we live on the farm together. I know how you play. Gets him out of that one. Doublelift still down, trying to get back into this fight from that previous takedown, and him being down has now cost another inhibitor turret. Now the inhibitor, Smithy, he walks into the fight, telegraphing this fight. He will go down through the pressure and the damage that Team Liquid can put out here. It's going to be the flash in, however, from Dominate. Squeaks out alive on the Poro as well. CLG's falling inside their base for what could be the final push here from Team Liquid. The first quarterfinal matchup being swept in 3 games. Nobody would have thought as the first Nexus turret goes
down on CLG. Team Liquid's low. CLG going to try desperately to push them out of the base, but this may be all but over, Riv.
They do give them a little bit of breathing room, Jap, but it's only going to be so long. They're just crushing and stepping on the
that's it.
tank. Counter Logic Gaming. Ooh, the true shot barrage does
Oops.
get dominate. That's 40 seconds of pressure they have to work with, but they
So
need
let's talk about this
like 5
series
minutes to
because
get
it's
back to this
interesting
game.
because CLG did do quite well in the early games in most of these, but in game one they got outpicked pretty badly, not horribly, and lost. In game two they got straight up completely dominated in picks and bans, and there was virtually no hope for them to win that game unless they got an overwhelming advantage early. And in this game, they had a really tight lane swap. They had a very good early game, and then they just got outplayed in all 3 lanes. All 3 lanes died, and it swung the advantage enormously back over to TL. TL, though, they really, I think moving forward, they have to make sure that they don't get so far behind in these lane swaps. Goodbye, double lift. Oh. I think they have to make sure they don't get so far behind in the lane swaps because that was really, really bad. They kept, Team Liquid kept splitting their decisions about how they were going to lane swap over the series, and they really just need to commit to one way of doing it and not try and triage both side lanes at the same time. You have to be firm about that commitment. But TL's team fighting has been really good. Their pick and ban phase has been good. I like all the compositions they've used so far.
Damage. The last whisper is not really finished for him, and he's already facing quite a bit of armor, so he's going to be hitting brick walls here. Double lift down to about 75%.
And CLG has a good comp this time. That's not the problem. The problem is that they straight up got style on in lane. And it wouldn't have mattered if one person did, but the fact that all of them did was terrible.
As does CLG.
Absolutely ridiculous. Okay, there's a second inhibitor down. Only one more stands. Very much in a counter logic-esque fashion, Team Liquid is making sure to take down everything in the base, everything they can get before taking out counter logic gaming here. Also playing it very safe and going on the same calls. The communication is really there for them. Can't wait to hear maybe a bike check.
It's a Baron right here.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
hoping for a steal.
The true shot barrage only gives vision. It's
Team
not
Liquid should
that much
feel
lane.
this fight. Yep, they're just going to kill Xmithy.
Perfectly done.
TL's Baron's calls have also been really good. They're all on the same page about whether they're going to finish or turn.
That damage reduction on the ultimate.
Or run.
You can tell how fat Pivot is now. 8-0-4 with Phoenix being 4-0-5 coming in. Here comes Quaz once again on the fight. Link gets to the other side, but he onslaughts right over the wall.
That's why Hecarim is good against double AD. He's got multiple targets that he can just blow up at any given time.
If they don't want him, they want the Nexus. They're going to be able to get that. It's just Sion's partner.
Quaz is hilarious
for the
this
rest of the
game.
fight, and he's buying all the time that he can, and that's not a lot of time. Liquid moves in for the Nexus.
This could be it, Riven. Pretty much is. Everybody dead. Team Liquid 3-0 on CLG. 2 playoffs in a row.
21-4. Another 30-minute game for Team Liquid as they figured out
That
Carnologic
was
Gaming
dominating.
inside and out. A textbook from start to finish in a best of
You know
five
what's scary
finish
is
here for our
TL
first
actually
quarter
probably
final.
doesn't
And as
have
they
to
take
work
them
that
on to get a
hard
few more
to
kills,
tidy up
Team
some of their
Liquid
lane
takes
swaps
down
in the early
Carnologic
game.
Gaming to move on.
And once they do that, they're
Here's
going to
the
be
excitement you're used to seeing.
pretty strong.
Will dominate after a victory.
But
Team Liquid is back.
this-
the team that people expected after the first week of the season.
The thing is,
that was
Liquid
first
got
place in North
exactly
American
what they
LCS.
wanted in terms of team comps in this series
3-0
because
today and move on
CLG
to
just
the
didn't try and fight them for any priority picks. Like, how the hell did we go through this entire series without seeing one Maokai from either team? It's not going to happen against C9. C9 will slam you with Maokai. C9 will also have better pick and bans and will adapt better over the course of a best of 5. So I think overall TL just... I mean, they just didn't encounter much opposition in terms of the planning for this game, and also the adaptations were weak, and TL pretty much just got every comp they wanted every time. But, man, those lane swaps were not good from TL. They have to fix that, because against a good team, you're not going to be able to outplay them in all 3 lanes to get back into that one. That was really, I think, CLG's game for the taking if they didn't shit the bed so hard in the laning phase once they got into the 1v1 and the 2v2. I mean, they weren't even dove. They were just straight up outplayed without any jungler being there. Dominate didn't even have to do anything.